Differentiate y equals x cubed times cosine squared of x. All right, so in this case we have a product, right? We have x cubed times cosine squared of x. So in order to find the derivative, we're going to have to use the product rule, right? So what is the general product rule? Let's say we have f times g. I'm just going to use a little bit of shorthand notation here, right? So if y is made up of a product of two functions, then what is dy dx going to be, right? Dy dx, right? That's going to be what? It's f prime times g plus g prime times f. Okay? And of course, in this case, our f function is going to be x cubed, and our g function is going to be cosine squared of x. Okay? I guess we can do this work on the side here, right? The derivative of the f function, right? The derivative of x cubed is just 3x squared. Here's where we get a little bit tricky, right? What is the derivative of cosine squared of x? Okay, it's not sine or negative sine squared of x, right? So, for example, we know what the derivative of cosine is, right? The derivative of cosine of x, right? So y is cosine of x, and the derivative of cosine is negative sine of x. But what about this? This is cosine squared, right? Remember, cosine squared of x is basically the same thing as cosine of x squared, right? So if you want to take the derivative of cosine squared of x, we've got to use a chain rule on this guy, right? So what is the derivative then? So we bring down the 2, so 2 times cosine of x to the first power. But then what does the chain rule say? We have to take the derivative of cosine x, which is the negative sine of x. Okay, this is going to be g prime right here. Okay, so we have f prime, we have g prime right here. We'll use the product rule and just plug everything back in, right? So what is dy dx then? Oh, I should mention here, hopefully you're not confused with all the letters and the f and the g's and the y's that I'm using here, okay? These are just side work, I guess, examples that we're working out here. Okay, of course, this is the original problem, right? So what are we going to do in this case? Well, f prime, so we got 3x squared times g, which is cosine squared of x, right? Plus now what? Plus g prime, which we have right here. Okay, so I guess we can just replace that with a minus, right? So 2 cosine x sine x times f, which is x cubed. Okay? Now you can bring the x cubed out front here if you want, right? So 3x squared cosine squared of x minus 2x cubed cosine of x sine of x. Of course, we can factor something out here, right? But for all intents and purposes, right, this here would be our final answer.